I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Jason, we have roll call.
Council President Perez,
Here.
Councilmember Van,
Here.
Councilmember O'Halloran,
Here.
Councilmember McIrvin,
Here?
Councilmember Prince,
Here.
and Councilmember Corman.
Here?
Roll call, Mr. Mayor, all present.
Thank you. Okay, next up, we have a roll call vote to appoint one of 6 council candidates for position number 2. These 6 individuals were nominated to be interviewed and potentially appointed by council at the January 27th council meeting. The way the process works is I, right now officially opening the roll call vote to appoint someone to fill council position number 2. I will defer to Council President Perez, who will begin the voting by selecting one of 6 candidates who was interviewed earlier today during the Committee of the Whole meeting. After Ms. Perez votes, the voting continues with each council member, starting with Councilmember Van, and then follows the regular roll call sequence for February. Each council member will vote for their preferred candidate. Each council member may wish to speak while they are voting for their preferred candidate. The candidate who receives the majority of the votes, 4 out of 6, has won the election and is appointed. If no candidates receive a majority of the votes, we will repeat the process until someone receives at least 4 votes. This may take several votes. Council may, by majority vote, suspend the vote for appointment until future council meeting. However, if someone does receive at least 4 votes, that person, after a majority vote by the council, has been appointed and will be sworn in at the next council meeting per council policy. Councilmember Perez.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is a very exciting day. I have to share that 5 years ago, I was where you guys are. I know how nervous all of you are, but I have to tell you that you all performed excellent, and the most important thing is that you all have the best interest of Renton at heart, and that's what we want. We want community members that are engaged, that are passionate, and that love Renton. With that, I will say that this is a hard decision. I happen to agree with Councilmember McIrvin. This is one of the hardest things that I have had to do, and one of the hardest votes that I'm going to have to take as a council member. I look very, very serious in all of your material, in all your letters of recommendation, and in my mind, it was very clear that after Councilmember Don Person left, some of the words that people used to describe him was generosity, giving, and someone that was always there for the people when the people need it. So for that, one of the candidates that I have known for 20 years, and I know that she has done nothing but help people selfless during her whole life, it's the person that I'm going to be voting for, and she is Maria Teresa Vasquez.
Okay, Councilmember Van.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Haven't read all the 22 applications, and being here after last meeting, and hearing the 6 applicants come and be interviewed by the council here, I want to echo what my colleague just said. Basically, thank you so much for all that you've done. Thank you so much for continuing to uplift our community. It is one Renton community. We have a lot of work to be done. And reflecting on the interview, because this part was the interview, and to see how we can as council work to really help our city, and despite our differences and our values, we have certain Renton values. And I think that together we can move Renton forward. With that said, I think it's a job of myself and my colleagues here to really critically analyze the materials we've read and to understand the answers to our questions today. And it is our job because the people have elected us to do that. So with all that said, and with the 6 applicants today, I will be nominating this individual who has shown commitment to the city of Renton through many different levels of service. It is with honor and pride that I nominate Ms. Angela Benedetti as my person.
So your vote is for Angela?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, next up is Councilmember O'Halloran.
Yes, so I also would like to thank everybody for their role in participating in this process. This is not an easy decision by any stretch of the imagination, but I look for selfless service and leadership. And in my opinion, everything that I've read and the interviews today and the level of commitment shown, my choice for candidate is also Angelina Benedetti.
Okay, Councilmember McGurban.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think I said last time, as President Perez mentioned, that this was the hardest thing. I think I have to say I was mistaken. It got harder because you all are so good. We had 22 great applicants, and we managed to narrow that down to 6. And I feel confident leaving here tonight that no matter who we select, we are selecting a competent, capable colleague to serve with us on council. So thank you all for putting yourself out there. It is not an easy thing to do. It takes a lot of courage. And it could have been easier to sit at home and know that you'll always get to watch Monday Night Football during football season. So I had to get something in for the Super Bowl. So, okay, with that, I will say that having read all the applications and listening to you all present and answer our questions tonight, I do obviously have to make a choice. And after going back and forth a little bit, because like I said, it is a tough decision, I will be casting my vote today for Angelina Benedetti.
Okay, Councilmember Prince.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor. Man, this is the second time I've done this, and it's not gotten any easier. But I will say we did end up with a great colleague in President Perez when we did this last time. You all 22 of you, in my opinion, were worthy of sitting up here and serving in this chamber with us. The 6 of you that interviewed today did an excellent job. And with that being said, I cast my vote for Angelina Benedetti.
Okay. And Councilmember Corman, that's 4.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, I guess I'd like to also thank all of the applicants. Great packages, great job during the interviews. I had actually been in this position myself. 30 years ago, I actually applied for a vacancy, and that one went 21 rounds of balloting. At one point, I got 3 out of 3 council votes, but went on to. While I didn't get appointed, I was able to go on to obviously run for the office and that I've held for a long time. And I tell that story because I want all the applicants to know that that this is just one way, you know, that applying for the position is just one way in, and I would hope that many of you would consider running for office in the future. And with that, I would vote for Angelina Benedetti.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor,
And Council President
At
Perez.
at this time, I would like to change my vote for Angelina Benedetti.
Okay, so we have a unanimous vote for Angelina Benedetti. Would you like to make a motion?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, I move that the council appoints Angelina Benedetti to fill the vacant council position number 2.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that the council will appoint Angelina Benedetti to position number 2. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Congratulations. Newest council member. Well, I want to thank all the candidates for putting themselves out there. I know it's a grueling process, and I've joked before that it's actually easier to run for council than it is to go through this process. It really is as brutal as Ms. Perez has gone through both. So once again, it's fantastic that we have this many people that are committed to the community and are willing to step up and put their name out there and put themselves out there. So I want to thank you once again, and welcome. Okay, next we have administrative report.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, City Council. I have one item for this evening. The Renton History Museum is hosting a virtual tour of Renton's Black History sites on February 6th from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Please take this opportunity to join Renton residents John Houston and Benita Horn as they share the history of the city's African-American residents, their lives, and their contributions to Renton's history. The cost for tickets is $5 for adults and $2 for children, and museum members are free. That's all I have this evening, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next we have audience comment. We do have 4 people signed up. When I call your name, please step up to the podium. You'll have 5 minutes. Please state your name and the city that you reside in. First up is Carrie Prats.
Kravitz.
Better at reading these names.
Penmanship must not have been very good.
Sorry.
I'm Carrie Pravitz from Bellevue, Washington, and good evening, Mr. Mayor, Council President, council members, and city staff. I'm Carrie Pravitz, and I'm the new East King County Community Government Relations Manager for the Port of Seattle. So I'm here to introduce myself as well as this new position to all of you, and I know some of you know me from my former role, so good evening. At the port, we're kicking off a monumental year, and through this position, I will ensure that Renton and the entire east side are connected with the port's assets and our programs. For more than 100 years, the port has served this region. The foundation of our work, moving people, things, and ideas around the globe, are the same. The reasons for operating the port, to create a seamless connection that supports economic and personal growth, are also the same. But how we work is constantly changing. We operate 2 of the most productive and vital gateways in our nation. We have the 8th busiest airport and the 4th busiest maritime gateway in North America. All of Washington's key economic industries depend on our gateways for connection to global markets. And to be globally competitive, we need sustainable facilities, diverse talent, and innovative programs. To connect East King County to these efforts, the port will provide almost $1 million in grants to King County cities through our Economic Development Grants Program, and an additional $200,000 through our Tourism and Marketing Support Program. I want to remind your staff team here tonight that there are deadlines coming up for those 2020 grants. The Tourism Marketing Support Grant Program deadline is this Friday, February 7th at 2 p.m., and the economic development grants are February 27th. You can contact me and I will send you all my information. I'm so new I don't have business cards yet, and I can connect you with our staff on those, but I'm sure your staff already have our port connections for those. Additionally, I want to give a few highlights of what's going on at the Port of Seattle. At SeaTech, we're catching up to the incredible rise in demand that occurred in this region. Airport use increased by 40% over just a 5-year period. And we currently have 51 million passengers using our airport facility that was designed for 30 million. While we have more than 100 projects underway to improve customers' experience at SeaTech, we're also working on our plan for serving passengers further in the future. Our hope is that 50 years from now, our constituents and industry can look at our investments and say, yes, we made our future possible. It's the same growth story on the maritime side. We're making investments where our natural advantages lie to global growth opportunities, particularly in tourism, maritime cargo, manufacturing and industry, and maritime innovation. As we recently celebrated our 20th anniversary of cruise this past year, we've become the largest and fastest growing cruise terminal on the West Coast, bringing in more than 1 million passengers a year since 2017. The industry generates $90 million for the local economy and provides more than 5,500 jobs locally every cruise season. We're currently underway with the largest package of maritime improvements the port has made in a generation. Together, our airport and maritime investments make us one of the largest builders in the region, with a $3 billion 5-year capital plan. I also want to quickly mention transportation, as it's something that touches everything in this region. We've invested nearly $500 million in transportation improvements in King County over the past 20 years. These investments have helped make our freight and commuter traffic safer and more efficient. And as we know, there's always more to do. All the port's growth and development is approached and executed with our commitment to the environment and equity, 2 values I know that are important to the city of Renton. The Port of Seattle targets its investments and programs to reduce the impacts of development and protect our natural resources. As environmental stewards, we embrace our responsibility to our citizens, to the livability of this region, and to the future. Additionally, through our Office of Social Responsibility and our new Senior Director of Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion, the Port endeavors to be a catalyst for equity and social impact throughout the Port and in the communities we serve. These are just a few examples of the investments we're making to better serve the demand we see from the growing region to ensure that we stay globally competitive in our near and long-term future. We have a lot going on at your port, and I look forward to working together with you in the city of Renton now and in the years ahead on the shared issues that impact our region and our economy. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, next up is Jason Collins.
All right, so I'm sorry. Congratulations. I'm not even gonna try to butcher it. For your spot on the council. Anyway, so I'm at SCORE. Right, I end up going to SCORE. I took care of all my guests, right? But while I'm there, somebody says that the police are taking. There's like 20 of us taking property that they think might possibly be stolen, and I'm just like talking to a girl, and the girl says that she like just had some things that she actually has a receipt for. It was just internet receipt, right? Anyway, so is the thing understaffed? Because like when I'm sitting there, I'm like, hey, do you think I can get? I think I wanted a cup for water, right? Like just a cup for water, like really simple thing, right? And he was like, you gotta talk to your pod officer. Well, that guy only comes around 5 or 7, 12, and 5, right? So like, you got 14 hours without that guy. So, I mean, I don't even know. But when you're locked down 23/1, it's pretty ridiculous. I can see how somebody can end up dying there from stress. But on top of that, if so, the schools they do like sex ed class, right? What if it's not stress and it ends up being like benzo alcohol dependency that can throw you into anaphylactic shock, right? Like they don't teach kids that stuff when they're in high school, and they like, or to turn your buddy to the side while he's puking drunk, right? Like I don't think they do that kind of stuff anyway. So maybe there's a hazard assessment you can throw into that class or something that let people know about not only if you ingest peanut butter you can die, or ingest shellfish or things like that, but if you stop ingesting certain substances you can actually like end up dead. So I get asked by this kid, right, that he's like, you got any place warm to go, right, like 3:30 in the morning, while I'm like walking around making sure all the drunk people are okay, right? And like I bring him to Starbucks, right, and then I like leave, and I come back to give him my phone number, right, and I hear that 2 cops told him he was robbing Arco, right? So I go back to Arco and I go say, did you have a shoplifter? And he says, no. And I was like, you didn't call anything in? And he says, no, right? So then I go back, and I give him my, like, mom's number, which is a landline, in case he ends up somewhere he can't call, you know, then I go to McDonald's and grab a coffee, and I'm like, man, this is just something that feel right? Like, just playing it by ear. And I sit there, and then the cops come up, and they say they're going to trespass me for, like, sitting there. And then they go talk to the kid. And then I don't even know what's really going on, right? But, like, I'm a pretty honest guy, and I'm, like, upfront with people, right? If you got a problem, come talk to me about it. Like, I'll talk to you. But the way that they behaved is absolutely unreal. And, I mean, I don't know. It was absolutely, I was, like, left dumbfounded by that. But anyway, so, I don't know if I'm going to end up petitioning Starbucks for some CC video just to see if even they did come up to the kid in the 5 minutes. I turned around and come back to give him my number. I felt bad. It's like 3:30 in the morning, or think it was 4:45 or something stupid like that. I don't know, people miss their bus at the transit center, right? And everybody's freezing, right? So there's no warm place to go at night. If you miss your last bus, you're screwed. So anyway, but nuts. Anyway, I'm sure it's not the last time you'll hear about it, because it was just everything about it was foul, like just way off the ground. There's this one cop, I gotta give it to her. She was like black hair, curly, and I told her like I like walk out after giving him my mom's phone number, right, in case he has to call a landline, and the just because he like, I don't know, I just don't have any trust in cops. But she said, okay, I told him he was gonna be on edge when she walked in, right, and just like leave him alone. Like the kid was like freaking out when I came back, right? So anyway, so she actually did that. That was like super nice, right? But then like, I mean, I don't even know these people, right? I don't even know. But anyway, I just I am in a, I don't know, it's just nutty. The whole thing is nutty. I don't know what you guys are doing, but good luck with those guys.
Okay, thank you. Next up is Brian Morse.
Good evening. My name is Brian Morris. I live in Renton, Washington. Good evening, council members, mayor. So this last weekend, for those of you who don't know, I'm the CEO for Renton City Comic Con, and we had our first big event of the year, kick off the cons on Saturday. And we invaded downtown Renton at the Pavilion Center and had a big fun event there. We drew in artists and vendors from all over the area. We had a contingency of Star Wars characters there. We had Mandalorians, for those of you who watched the show. We had a little baby Yoda there. We had a big raffle that we gave away and raised money for Downtown Raise, the Renton Area Youth Association. And it was a great event. We had lots of families, kids in there all day. It was really a fun event. And following that, we had our event, the Geek Awards. And this is our third year for doing that, where people from the community get to nominate their favorite geek, whether it be a podcast or a series or a movie or a film or a store or a cosplay or whatever. And as part of that, one of the things that happened that evening was we said goodbye to Renton City Comic Con, because we've expanded our branding now to become King Kong. And Mayor, this is a t-shirt for you.
You?
You get to have the first one. And you may be asking, well, what was wrong with Renton City Comic Con? We like Renton. Renton's a cool place, and we agree. It's not that we're going to be changing or moving where we're doing it or where our emphasis is going to be, but we wanted to expand our reach and our position within the area. So instead of Renton, we are going to tackle King County, thus the name King Kong. It kind of play off of King Kong the gorilla as well, but we also intend to be the king of cons in the area as well. And so by changing it to a more regional scope, we get to bring in businesses, finances, and people from a broader area who then will be able to focus into the city of Renton. And that's our intent, is to grow, but to be able to work with outside cities and organizations and nonprofits and saying, wow, this is a King County? Even the King County itself has a new arts council. And to be able to work with them to bring in their influence into the city of Renton, to be able to make city of Renton a mecca of creative arts, and everything goes along with it. It'll be really, we're just super excited. I just wanted to leave you with one of the quotes from the weekend. A gentleman was there. He won the Geek of the Year. He was a podcaster and super nice guy. And he was up there. He was in tears because he was so touched. And his quote, to finish off the evening that we had, he says, "These are my people. This is my hope, my love, my passion. This is my creative inspiration, my encouragement. This is my life." And I would just like to encourage you, as you see things that we're doing and throughout the city, throughout the year, to join in, to be a part of what we're doing, because this is truly a unique opportunity we have here in the city of Renton to reach out to a community that we've never reached out to before, other than what we're doing here at King Kong now. So I just want to thank you for your past support and your encouragement, and we look forward to a lot more really cool things that are going to be happening this year.
Great, thank you. Okay, next up is Diane Polkey.
Hello, my name is Diane Paholke, P-A-H-O-L-K-E, and I'm a citizen of Renton, and I work for ProFlight Aviation, which is a business located on the Renton Airport that's been there for 25 years. The reason I had spoken to the council about a month ago about this new airport layout plan and how I thought it would be harmful to all the businesses. Well, as we've been meeting with more and more leaseholders and having more and more meetings, I have found that it's even more devastating than I originally anticipated. When we were first asked for our comments, each of us responded to what would happen on our leased area, because everybody was going to lose some of their building or some of their property. And so but we also do a lot of business amongst each other. And that we really hadn't anticipated the extent on that. So I just wanted to make sure that the council was aware that the economic damage to the existing businesses is quite severe. And the other problem is that as of all of these meetings that we've been going to and having, it seems that somehow I gave the impression that I had begged the city to go back to the FAA with us and ask for a declassification. We also want to go, in case that doesn't work, or as we heard last week, that takes a long time to go up and down through the FAA and stuff. We also want to apply for exemptions or exclusions to the plan at the same time and demonstrate how that could help us. And through all of this, there have been a lot of interesting suggestions as to, how we can present this to the FAA and what are some of the solutions. But one of them was when I went to a meeting over at Boeing Field and with several of their technical board, and we started asking them, why we should apply for this. And it kept coming back to, but they have a 24-hour tower. It's like it resolved so many things. And as I looked at the master layout plan, we're talking a minimum of $150 to $500 million, of which the FAA is supposed to pay for 90%. What would it cost us to have a 24-hour tower? Because it could be limited staff in the evenings and stuff. So there's been a lot of different kind of plans of that, of people getting together and meeting. And I would hope that the last time at the RAC meeting, we were thrilled. Mr. Corman came and Mr. McIrvin, and we learned a lot about from what you need on your side and stuff. And the ideas, I think, are really coming together. I just hope that we continue to keep pursuing this every week, because it is really a devastating problem to the airport at this point. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much. Okay, next up we have the consent agenda.
Mr. Mayor,
Council President Perez.
I move that we approve the consent agenda as published.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the consent agenda. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Up next is unfinished business. Council President Perez.
No unfinished business, Mr. Mayor.
Councilmember Van.
No unfinished business.
Councilmember Halloran.
No unfinished business, Mr. Mayor.
Councilmember McGurven.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Also no unfinished business.
Councilmember Prince.
No unfinished business.
Councilmember Corman.
No unfinished business, Mr. Mayor.
You guys did no work this week?
Yeah, not in.
You're the one that wanted to be mayor.
Funny. Do we have any legislation? Next. We have no legislation. Okay, new business. Council President Perez.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Committee of the Whole will be in the Council Conference Room on February 10 at 4:30, and it's an executive session pursuant to RCW 423011-01I for approximately 2 hours.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Van.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Community Service Committee will be convening and meeting on February 10th, 2020 at 2:45 p.m. at Council Conference Room. Relating to, with matters on the agenda is the Municipal Arts Commission appointments, redefining duties of the Arts Commission, and this will not be 2 hours.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember O'Halloran.
No new business.
Councilmember McGurven.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would like to announce that the Transportation Aviation Committee will be meeting on Monday, February 10th at 2 p.m. in the Council Conference Room. There are 3 items on the agenda. 1, airport rate study agreement. 2, airport wildlife hazard mitigation services agreement. And 3, emerging issues, which will include TIP prioritization, airport issues updates, and a Wells-Williams bid opening public involvement process. That is all, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Councilmember Prince.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Finance Committee will be meeting at 3:15 on Monday, February 10th, 2020, in the Council Conference Room. We have 4 items on the agenda. Finance Division reorganization, Community Services full-time position request, vouchers, and emerging issues in finance. That's all, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Corman.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, thank you. I would like to announce a Planning and Development Committee meeting for February 10th, 4:00 p.m. in the Council Conference Room. 2 items on that agenda. The first is Planning Commission appointments, and the second item is docket number 14 update, and that is all, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And I know you guys were all working very hard. We were selecting a new council member, and thank you for all that work. So, anyway, what's the wish of the council?
Move we adjourn.
Second.
Been moved and seconded that we adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we are adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.